again. I relapse, but love has never left me. Perhaps I should have found a way to pay it back. But if I get what you take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you dream, you forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day you dream away. Who needs a heart that tears apart? Ruminating cycles me back at the start. Time and time again I relapse, but your love is always waiting. Perhaps I can't save myself, so I fade to black. But if I get what you take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you dream, you forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day you dream Give and take, only take enough to swallow the pain. Drown the pain until it all wash away. From the night to the day you forgive my mistake. It becomes another habit to break. I'll replay it till the guilt turns to shame. From the night to the day. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's the end of the weekend, but I still wanna turn up. Yeah, I still wanna turn up. All I want is to go again, but you ain't picking your phone up. Why you messing my head up? Any night, any day, let me take you away. All I need is just saying yeah, 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 yeah. Better nights, better days, when you're here with me, babe. Cause you're all that I crave, so I wonder, where are you? Where are you? Don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, where are you? Don't be so hard to reach, just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, cause I gotta know. Let me know when you're ready, cause I made reservations. Too many invitations, and the last night was heavy. I need communication. Tell me where's your location. Used to talk 24/7, every other second, just to make sure we were up to date. Now it's closer to 11, and I ain't hearing nothing. I just need to know that you're okay. Hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, where are you? Hey, don't be so hard to reach, just pick up your phone. Tell me where you'll be, 'cause I gotta know. Any night, any day, let me take you away. All I need is you saying yeah, yeah, yeah. Better nights, better days, when you're here with me, babe. 'Cause you're all I crave, so I wonder, where are you, baby? Don't hide away from me when I need you most. We got love guaranteed, and I have to know, say, don't be so hard to reach. Just pick up your phone, tell me where you'll be, 'cause I gotta know.
I can hear them thinking out loud, loud. Simple people acting so proud, proud. I hear them talking, talking, talking about us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear them thinking out loud. One might think it's obvious. Please don't spill your mind when you don't have a clue. Hey, they don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know one thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us. No, they wouldn't know about us. They keep wishing that I'd fall in line, line. But you and me, babe, we're one of a kind, kind. One might think it's obvious. Please don't spill your mind when you don't have a clue. Hey, one might think they don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know one thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us. No, they wouldn't know about us, 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 us. They don't know about us, us, us. They don't get it, babe, living in a cruel world. It's a rare thing to do just what we do, love. Hold your head high and do it by your own terms. They don't get it, babe, no, they don't get it, babe. They don't know about us, babe. They don't know about us. They can think what they want, baby, but they don't know one thing. Even if they did have a glimpse of our truth, they wouldn't know about us. No, they wouldn't know about us, us, us. They don't know about us, us,
I'ma need safety. Tell her I can't snake me. Ray gun off safety. My girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world. She want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going. I keep it factual. I'm on sabbatical. I'm out in Central America. I need a break from a hysteria. Park like the one with the carousel. I get it lit in your area. I'm locked to the vision, it couldn't be clear. You couldn't pay me to care enough. I dare you to hate me supreme with the sound through the stereo. So turn it up loud when you hearing us. We live and it's good in your area. My mama proud, she tearing up and it's going down. Got your girl aroused by these massive stacks like 100 pounds. Running big laps till the sun is down like 100 miles. Tinted frames on me leaning down. I'm winning now. Been a while, you ain't like me then, but how you like me now? Real one, if I hold you down, I'ma keep it there till we in the ground. Jet black when I paint the town, only blue sheets when they pay me now. Treat a setback like a step back. Wave, I got the game in a vice grip. Way up when the virus clear. All the homies on the flight list. Verbally gifted, take the plot and I twist it. Got it big lit. Sex with the incense, got my mind rinse, won't stop, I'm relentless. I'ma need safety, till the op can't snake me. Ray gun on safety, my girl so tasty. Tell her it's your world, she want the two-tone spaceship. Blow smoke screen daily, so the stress don't faze me. I'm going, I want a grill for the mouthpiece, so bright that it light on my face. Your shawty just call me a fave, cause she like my character traits. I never stop for a break, I put a lock on the game. I put a stock in my name, but I give a f about the fame. I took a bite of that life and it tastes so exquisite. It feel like you do when you look in my pendant. Hopeless romantic, my girl, chin up for the kid. I'm not on no simps. Won't stop till the youngest he dreams. Wanna take him from rags to riches. I heard that you claim that you know me, but you ain't the homie, the f is your friendship. I need the loyalty, bag up the royalty. I give a f if you notice me. Ain't nobody holding me. Big wave at your shoreline, so they know it's me. Babe boy from the cold seas. Nitro with a new pen, go at ISO, tell him don't reach. Ice cold with it, no fleece. I'ma need safety.
You broke my heart 1,000,000 times. Can't count the times I made you cry. Oh, it's such a mess now.
Mic check 1 2.
I get so sad.
Happy Monday, my friends. Salute. Salute. Imagine me saluting. Imagine me saluting. I'm saluting to all the soldiers out there. Saluting to all the soldiers out there. I don't have an intro for this. You know, on the High Value Shan, we say, welcome to High Value Shan, another episode of High Value Shan, where not only is Shan a high value man, so is the content. I don't have an intro for the rich people read, but I know one thing. If you want to be rich, you better start reading. I know if you want to be rich, you better start reading. I know if you want to be rich, you better start reading. It's not optional. It's not optional. Oh man, my gardener is here. I forgot it's Monday. My gardener is here. You might hear the lawnmower. My gardener's out there cutting the grass. He won't be long. I'm glad you guys are here. We're gonna read today. Let's go, y'all. Let's make it happen. I'm ready. I need to turn the air conditioning on. Let's work things out. Hey. Hold on. I think that was my gardener calling on me. Welcome to another chapter. See, I don't have an intro. This is our very first one. I don't have an intro for Rich People Read. I got to come up with something snazzy. Like, one, I'm going to say chapter, because we read in chapters, right? And so it's an episode, but it's a chapter. So welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read. I'll come up with something. We'll figure out something. I know one thing though, Rich People Read. I don't know how many wealthy people you guys know. Oh yeah, I had to turn the air conditioner on, Brittany. I had to turn the AC on today. It is hot in Los Angeles. It's warm in Los Angeles. So, and it's kind of warm in my house, so I had to turn the air conditioning on. I'm glad you guys are here. Motion detected. That's my gardener out front. I hope the lawnmower isn't too loud. He takes care of my landscaping every Monday. I forgot about that. I forgot that he's here normally. I normally would have already gone. No, I normally wouldn't be going live this early. I'd be going live later on and he'd be done. But we can get through it. As long as I'm nice and clear, as long as you guys can hear me, my audio is good, we're going to be good to go. What is Rich People Read? Well, one thing's for sure, rich people read. If you want to be rich, you better start reading. If you're not a reader, get used to it. What we're going to be doing is reading a book. Have you ever been part of a book club? Have you ever been a member of a book club where, you know, a lot of people get together and then somebody comes up with a particular book for them to read, and then everybody goes and purchases that book, they read it, and then they discuss it. One of the most famous book clubs out there is Oprah Winfrey's book club. Oprah Winfrey, I believe she still does it. I'm not sure if she does it. I've never been a member of Oprah Winfrey's book club. Excuse me. I've never been a member of Oprah Winfrey's book club, but I know it's extremely famous. I know certain authors have been propelled to #1 booksellers because of Oprah Winfrey. So the idea is a lot of people that's like-minded get together and they read. Now, here at Shannon Rawls' podcast, here at my channel, I'm all about money. I'm about two things that need to be successful: entrepreneurship and relationships. You can't have success in either of them without money, not here in America. So we are intent on making sure that most people, I take that back, on everybody that's around here, is money minded. I want you guys to get into the mindset of being wealthy, having abundance, being a blessing to the people in your family, a blessing to the people around you, your friends, financially. All right, financially, money. I'm in Los Angeles, California, so money matters. And one thing that I noticed that a lot of people do in our community, Black community, is we don't read that often. We have intentions to read. We want to read. We want to, but we don't. And in order to do that, sometimes you need a little bit of motivation. I hope I'm that motivation for you. I hope that I'm at least trying to bless you guys as best I possibly can to motivate you to read when you otherwise would not have. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care how you read. You can either read using an audiobook and you don't have to actually read the words on the page. You can have somebody read it to you. You can actually get it on an iPad or a Kindle or a Android tablet of some sort, and you could read that way. Or you can get the physical book. I don't care how you get it, as long as you're getting the knowledge. Learning and absorbing knowledge is important. It changes how you think. It modifies the way you behave in your day-to-day life. When you start realizing that some of the things that you once tolerated, you no longer tolerate, is as a result of you acquiring knowledge and reading books, you'll realize that life is going to be a lot easier. You're going to start getting rid of people that's around you, that's sucking on you and leeching and dragging you down and holding you down. People are either going to be helpful or a hindrance. We want to get rid of all the hindrances out of our life. And so in book clubs, people generally get around. Then there's lots of different kind of book clubs. Some people have murder mystery book clubs. Some people read about murder mysteries. They talk about, they like fictional things like love stories. Some people read love story books, and they get in love story book clubs. Over here, we talk about getting rich. We talk about living a life of abundance and doing well for yourself, where there is no more late bills, the water bill, your T-Mobile bill, or your Verizon or Sprint bill for your cell phone is no longer late. You're not late on your auto insurance. No more pink slips. No more late mortgages. No more late car notes. We want everybody around here that's part of the SR Army. We travel when we want to. We travel when we want to. We go on vacations. That's what we do over here. So how do you get there? If you're not there yet, first you have to have the intentions to do so. So if you're not there yet, welcome. Join the army. Welcome. Be part of us over here. Because as long as you have the intentions and you want to, then we love to have you. I believe my man, Ace Senior's in here blessing the chat already. Look at this. Ace Senior hit us with the big one. He does it every time. Ace Senior does it every time. He's blessing the channel, making this available. Thank you so much, Ace Senior, for the super chat. I appreciate you. He does this every day. Him and Jonathan, specifically Ace, he does this every day. He makes it. Did you guys know that Ace Senior has blessed 5 to 6 people with this particular book? Last week, when I announced that we're going to be reading Think and Grow Rich, Ace came into the chat, and Ace said, "Yo, Shan, tell everybody that's here that's going to be part of this this particular book reading. If they don't have the book, I'll send them a copy. All I need is their email address, Shan. I'll take it from there." Ace Senior said in the chat, this is after he already hit me with like $200 in super chats. He was like, "Hey, yo, Shan, have everybody that wants a copy, a physical copy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If anybody wants a physical copy, have them hit me up. I'll take it from there." I said, okay. I said, everybody, you guys email me if you want a copy of the book. Ace Senior got you. I got a flood of emails, like 4 people that night. 2 more over the weekend. I shot them over to Ace Senior. Ace Senior, I got them. Their books are on the way. Ace Senior is a blessing. This book is gonna, you know what's weird? This book is gonna talk about people like Ace Senior. You're gonna identify his personality as we get through this book. I've read this book a few times. He's what Napoleon Hill was talking about back in 1925 when he started writing this book. You're gonna see people like Ace Senior, and I want you to identify these people like Ace Senior, who's in your current network of friends, who's in your neighborhood, who's in your community. I want you to identify them. I want you to laser focus on those people. And this book is going to tell you how to manifest those people in your life so you can be like them and you can be a blessing the way Ace Senior is a blessing. So you can be a blessing the way Ace Senior has been a blessing to us. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, Ace Senior. I appreciate you for that, man. I appreciate you for that. And then I think, did I read it correct? Oh, everybody.
Sir, yes, sir.
Let's salute Ace Senior. Let's salute Ace Senior. He just enlisted into the SR Army. He just enlisted into the SR Army as a special forces soldier, the top tier.
Sir, yes, sir.
Good to have you, Ace Senior, as part of the military. It's good to have you as part of the Army, the SR Army, where we make it happen over here. I'm catching up on the stream, and then we're going to get into this book. We're going to read it together, you guys. What's up, everybody? I'm missing all the hellos. Erica Penn is here, and Black Pearl, Marcus Luson. I don't know. I'm not saying his name right. M. Mills. My man Thomas Thompson is back. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Thomas? We're going to get into reading this book. So the way this is going to work, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to read 1 chapter a day, 3 days this week. We're going to read this morning, Monday. We're going to read again on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. We're going to read again on Friday morning at 9 o'clock. One chapter. This book has 15 chapters, so we're going to do this over the course of 5 weeks. A month and a week. And we're going to have this book knocked out. Here's what's important for you. You can either read along with us or you can listen in. Some of you guys are at work. You don't have the ability to just kick back and read at this time of the day. That's okay. Do you have some earbuds? Are you at work running your reports, doing what's necessary to make sure you can get your paycheck and get that money? That's right. Get that money, you guys. Money is a tool. And we want as many of those tools as possible, right? So be at work, but listen in. Put your headphones on if you have the ability to, or put in your earpods. Put in your earbuds so you can listen in and just listen to me read. I'll do my best to be as phonetically clear as possible. Hopefully my microphone sounds good. I appreciate everybody here. What's up, Cyan God? Hey, Lakeisha. It's good to have you here, love. It's good to have you here. Salute to all the soldiers. You'll notice all the soldiers have rank on their name in the chat. You see that rank? That means that they have rank and they're part of the SR Army. Now, we're not the US Army, we're the SR Army. And everybody in the SR Army is high value. They're either high value or on their way. They're either high value or on their way. That's right, Teresa. Or Therese. That's right, Therese. She's at work. AirPods in. She's getting her money. She's getting paid. She's getting fed 2 different ways. She's getting bread and she's getting fed. So we're going to read chapter 1 today. In fact, we're going to read the intro. The intro from Napoleon Hill. And then we're going to read chapter 1 and we'll be done. I hope I hope that lawnmower ain't too loud. He would be right out front. I got so many lawn. I got a lawn for him to mow in the back. He could do all this other stuff. He's right next to me. We'll be all right though. We'll be all right. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. We're getting ready to read Think and Grow Rich. Let me talk about the book just a little quick. Just give me a few minutes to talk about this particular book. This book was gifted to me by an employee of mine a few years ago named Michael. He's a good brother. He was out here in Los Angeles. He worked for me for a little over a year. And one day he came to the store because I had a store downtown in the fashion district before I moved to my new studio. And he was like, man, I want to bless you with this book, Shan. And I was like, well, you know, what book is this? He's like, Think and Grow Rich is one of the best books out there. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to give it to you. I'll give me another copy. So he gave me this copy. Michael did. I sat down and read this book and I realized that Think and Grow Rich is not just a self-help book. It's not just a book for people just to read and feel good about themselves. It's actually a instruction manual. This book is actually an instruction manual that has specific things that you must do. This book is all about manifestation. It's the book that, from what I understand, has created more millionaires in the world. You'll be hard pressed to find a millionaire that does not have Think and Grow Rich in their library. And what it is if you do everything that this book, Think and Grow Rich, tells you to do, if you do everything that Think and Grow Rich tells you to do, you will have whatever it is you want. If it's riches, which is what we talk about, right? Then you'll have it. If it's a relationship, you'll have it. If it's a convertible Ferrari, you'll be driving it. You will. If it's success in your business, you'll have it. Whatever it is you want, as long as you follow the tenets in this book, as long as you do the things that this book is going to tell us to do, we're going to read it over the course of 1 month. You'll have exactly what you want. Now, here's the part. It's not easy. Here's the hard part. It's not easy to do. I personally have failed at doing everything that this book is telling me to do because no excuse. No excuse. We don't do excuses over here either, right? Excuses are the tools of the incompetent. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent. So I don't have any excuse. I just haven't done everything this book has been telling me to do. But this time around, with your help, hopefully I will. This time around, I'll make it happen. So let's get started, you guys. Let's get started, you guys. Appreciate you guys. What up, RCC? Oh, good. And you can't hear the lawnmower because it's loud as hell over here in my ear. It's loud as hell over here in my ear. All right. So let's start with, and this is my first time reading on YouTube. So this is going to be rough. I'm going to get used to it as we read more books. We're going to get used to it as I read more books. So let's see. We're going to switch over here. Let's kill the music. Start quiet. I have the actual book. Hold on one second. Let me clear some of the stuff out on my screen. I have the actual book, but my first pages are tore up. I'm so heavy into this book. I've tore up some of the pages. My son has tore up some of the pages. So I'm going to read on screen. I've created, of course, I use Ecamm. So I have a system that's going to allow me to read. So you could read along with us on the screen. Here we go. Now I'm gonna make this, I may want to get up. Hold on. Alexa, lower the volume to 1. Okay, we won't hear that no more. I'm going to. I don't promise to read on the screen throughout the time. Sometimes I'm going to want to get up, and sometimes I'm going to want to read the physical book. But for right now, we're going to read on screen together. So if you are at work and listening, just listen in. If you're at home and you don't have the physical book, just kick back and listen to what we have to say. Napoleon Hill starts with, in every chapter of this book, mention has been made of the money-making secret which has made fortunes for more than 500 exceedingly wealthy men whom I carefully analyzed over a long period of years. The secret was brought to my attention by Andrew Carnegie more than a quarter of a century ago. The canny, lovable old Scotsman carelessly tossed it into my mind when I was but a boy. Then he sat back in his chair with a merry twinkle in his eye and watched carefully to see if I had brains enough to understand the full significance of what he had said to me. When he saw that I had grasped the idea, he asked if I would be willing to spend 20 years or more preparing myself to take it to the world, to men and women who, without the secret, might go through life as failures. I said I would, and with Mr. Carnegie's cooperation, I have kept my promise. This book, Think and Grow Rich, contains the secret after having been put to a practical test by thousands of people in almost every walk of life. It was Mr. Carnegie's idea that the magic formula, which gave him a stupendous fortune, ought to be placed within reach of people who do not have time to investigate how men make money. And it was his hope that I might test and demonstrate the soundness of the formula through the experience of men and women in every calling. Shout out to Sherry Farley. We appreciate the super chat. Thank you. She says currently working, however, definitely tuning in. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you so much. I'll continue. He believed the formula should be taught in all public schools and colleges and expressed the opinion that if it were properly taught, it would so revolutionize the entire educational system that the time spent in school could be reduced to less than half. His experience with Charles Schwab and other young men of Mr. Schwab's type convinced Mr. Carnegie that much of that which is taught in the schools is of no value whatsoever in connection with the business of earning a living or accumulating riches. They believed that the shit that was taught in school was worthless. Half of the things that you learned in school was worthless. They thought this back in 1925. Now, he had arrived at this decision because he had taken into his business one young man after another, many of them with but little schooling, and by coaching them in the use of this formula, developed in them rare leadership. Moreover, his coaching made fortunes for every one of them who followed his instructions. In the chapter on faith, you will read the astounding story of the organization of the giant United States Steel Corporation as it was conceived and carried out by one of the young men through whom Mr. Carnegie proved that his formula will work for all who are ready for it. The single application of secret by that young man, Charles Schwab, made him a huge fortune in both money and opportunity. Roughly speaking, this particular application of the formula was worth $600 million of 1925 money, by the way, you guys. $600 million. These facts and they are facts well known to almost everyone who knew Mr. Carnegie, give you a fair idea of what reading this book may bring to you, provided you know what it is that you want. It's important. They put in caps, provided that you know what it is that you want. Even before it had undergone 20 years of practical testing, the secret was passed on to more than 100,000 men and women who have used it for their personal benefit, as Mr. Carnegie planned that they should. Some have made fortunes with it. Others have used it successfully in creating harmony in their homes. A clergyman used it so effectively that it brought him an income of upwards of $75,000 a year in 1925 money. Arthur Nash, a Cincinnati tailor, used his near bankrupt business as a guinea pig on which to test this formula. The business came to life and made a fortune for its owners. It is still thriving, although Mr. Nash has gone away. The experiment was so unique that newspapers and magazines gave it more than $1 million worth of laudatory publicity. The secret was passed on to Stuart Austin White Weir of Dallas, Texas. He was ready for it. So ready that he gave up his profession and studied law. Did he succeed? That story is told too. I gave the secret to Jennings Randolph the day he graduated from college, and he has used it so successfully that he is now serving his third term as a member of Congress, with an excellent opportunity to keep on using it until it carries him well into the White House. While serving as advertising manager of the LaSalle Extension University when it was a little more than just a name, I had the privilege of seeing J.G. Chaplin, president of the university, use the formula so effectively that he has since made the LaSalle one of the great extension schools of the country. The secret that you'll read in this book, you guys, the secret to which I refer has been mentioned no fewer than 100 times throughout this book. It has not been directly named, for it seems to work more successfully when it is merely uncovered and left in sight, where those who are ready and searching for it may pick it up. That is why Mr. Carnegie tossed it to me so quickly without giving me its specific name. If you, and this is to everybody that can hear Shannon's voice, if you are ready to put it to use, you will recognize this secret at least once in every single chapter. I wish I might feel privileged to tell you how you will know if you are ready, but that you would deprive you of much of the benefit you will receive when you make the discovery in your own way. While this book was being written, my own son, who was then finishing the last year of his college work, picked up the manuscript of chapter 2, read it, and discovered the secret for himself. He used the information so effectively that he went directly into a responsible position at a beginning salary greater than the average man ever earns. His story has been briefly described in chapter 2. When you read it, stop giving it away, Beasley. I see you in the chat. Beasley read this book, you guys. When you read it, perhaps you will dismiss any feeling you may have had at the beginning of this book that is promised too much. And two, if you have ever been discouraged, if you have had difficulties to surmount which took the very soul out of you, if you have tried and failed, if you were ever handicapped by illness or physical affliction, this story of my son's discovery and use of the Carnegie formula may prove to be the oasis in the desert of lost hope for which you have been searching. This secret was extensively used by President Woodrow Wilson during the First World War. It was passed on to every soldier who fought in the war, carefully wrapped in the training received before going to the front line. President Wilson told me it was a strong factor in raising the funds needed for the war. More than 20 years ago, Honorable Manuel L. Quezon, the resident commissioner of the Philippine Islands, was inspired by the secret to gain freedom for his people. He has gained freedom for the Philippines and is the first president of the free state. A peculiar thing about this secret is that those who once acquire it and use it find themselves literally swept on to success with but little effort, and they never again submit to failure. If you doubt this, study the names of those who have used it. Wherever they have been mentioned, check their records for yourself and be convinced. Hold on. Okay, I'm not done yet. Here we go. Back up. The secret to which I refer cannot be had without a price. I'm sorry. There's nothing free, you guys. You guys understand. There is nothing free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Alexa, lower the volume to 1. I thought I told her that already. There's nothing free. Now, the secret to which I refer cannot be had without a price. Although the price is far less than its value, it cannot be had at any price by those who are not intentionally searching for it. It cannot be given away. It cannot be purchased for money. For the reason that it comes in 2 parts. One part is already in possession of those who are ready for it. The secret serves equally well all who are ready for it. Education has nothing to do with it, you guys. Long before I was born, the secret had found its way into the possession of Thomas A. Edison. And he used it so intelligently that he became the world's leading inventor, although he had but 3 months of school. I didn't know that Thomas Edison went to school for only 3 months. Jeez. My God, I didn't know that. The secret was passed on to a business associate of Mr. Edison. He used it so effectively that although he was then making only $12,000 a year, he accumulated a great fortune and retired from active business while still a young man. You will find his story at the beginning of the first chapter. It should convince you that the riches are not beyond your reach, that you can still be what you wish to be, for that money, fame, recognition, and happiness can be had by all who are ready and determined to have those blessings. How do I know these things? You should have the answer before you finish this book. You may find it in the very first chapter or on the very last page. While I was performing the 20-year task of researching this book, which I had undertaken at Mr. Carnegie's request, I analyzed hundreds of well-known men, many of whom admitted that they had accumulated their vast fortunes through the aid of the Carnegie secret. Among those men were Henry Ford, John W. Davis, William Wrigley Jr., Elbert Hubbard, John Wanamaker, Wilbur Wright, James J. Hill, Williams Jennings, George S. Parker, Charles Schwab. I'm not going to read all these names. We're going to skip these names. And then it's a whole another list of names. Hold on. I got the book over here twice too. Theodore Roosevelt, George Eastman of Eastman Kodak, you know, Kodak film. My God. Frank Munsey, Alexander Graham Bell. Am I hitting some names that you guys will remember? George M. Alexander, Luther Burbank, Edwin C. Barnes. Sheesh. These are a lot of research the names. All these people have used this formula. These names represent but a small fraction of the hundreds of well-known Americans whose achievements, financially and otherwise, prove that those who understand and apply the Carnegie secret reach high stations in life. I have never known anyone who was inspired to use the secret who did not achieve noteworthy success in his chosen calling. I have never known any person to distinguish himself or to accumulate riches of any consequence without possession of this particular secret. From these two facts, I draw the conclusion that the secret is more important as a part of the knowledge essential for self-determination than any which one receives what is popularly known as education. As education. Real quick, you guys, I gotta make acknowledgement to this. Gotta make acknowledgement.
Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to Miss Parker for joining the SR Army. Thank you, Miss Parker, for joining the SR Army. All the soldiers, give a salute. Look in the emoticon, look in the emojis and give her a salute. It's the first emoji in there. All soldiers, give her a salute. Thank you to Miss Parker for joining the team. Thank you for Miss Parker for joining the Army. We appreciate you, love. I'll continue. From these two facts, I draw the conclusion that the secret is more important as a part of the knowledge essential for self-determination than any which one receives through what is popularly known as education. Basically, if you learn what we're getting ready to read and learn in this book, it's more valuable to you than half of the education that you've received in school. Than half of the education that you've received in school, which will help propel you to achieve the goal that you intend to reach. That's right, everybody. Salute to Miss Parker. Salute to Miss Parker. Love this. The Army is growing, you guys. The Army is growing. Now, what is education anyway? What is education anyway? This has been answered in full detail. As far as schooling is concerned, many of these men had very little. These successful men had very little. John Wanamaker once told me that what little schooling he had, he acquired in very much the same manner as a modern locomotive takes on water, by scooping it up as it runs. Henry Ford, we all know who Henry Ford is, right? The inventor of the assembly line. You guys know the assembly line, where, there's a conveyor belt and there's workers on both sides. And as parts come down, they're putting stuff together. They do it in food. They do it in mechanics. They do it in the automotive industry. That was revolutionized by Henry Ford. Before Henry Ford, creating the assembly line where parts were on an assembly, on a conveyor belt, started in parts and ended in a complete thing. They were doing it the hard way. Henry Ford never reached high school, let alone college. I am not attempting to minimize the value of schooling, but I am trying to express my earnest belief that those who master and apply the secret will reach high stations, accumulate riches, and bargain with life on their own terms, even if their schooling has been meager. Somewhere as you read, the secret to which I refer will jump from the page and stand boldly before you if you are ready for it. When it appears, you will recognize it. Whether you receive the sign in the first or the last chapter, stop for a moment. When it presents itself and turn down a glass for that occasion will mark the most important turning point in your life. We will pass now to chapter 1 and to the story of my very dear friend who has generously acknowledged having seen the mystic sign and whose business achievements are evidence that he turned down a glass. As you read his story and others, remember that to deal with the important problems of life, such as all men experience, the problems arising from one's own endeavors to earn a living, to find hope, courage, contentment, and peace of mind, to accumulate riches and to enjoy freedom of body and spirit. Remember too, as you go through this book, that it deals with the facts and not fiction, its purpose being to convey a great universal truth through which all who are ready may learn not only what to do, but also how to do it, and receive as well the needed stimulus to make a start. Now, as a final word of preparation, before you begin the first chapter, before we begin together, you guys, the first chapter, may I offer one brief suggestion which may provide a clue by which the Carnegie secret may be recognized. It is this: all achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. If you are ready for the secret, you already possess one half of it. If you're ready to receive it, you guys, you already possess one half of the secret. Therefore, you will readily recognize the other half the moment it reaches your mind. Let's get to chapter 1. Shout out to Square Biz. Thumbs up, Square Biz. We appreciate you for supporting the channel with the super chat, with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support, man. Thank you so much. And again, salute to Miss Parker. Salute to Miss Parker, back to the basics, for joining the army. Thank you, love, for joining up with us. What up, Joel? What up, Joel? We getting ready to start chapter 1. Today we're only doing chapter 1. I'm gonna read straight through chapter 1, you guys. I'm a little animated when I read, especially when I read something that's kind of important that I want to highlight. If you guys have a book in your hand, hopefully you have a highlighter. So if this pops up at you, you can highlight it. Hopefully you have a highlighter or a pen so you can underscore the things that pop out to you that's important. All right. The first chapter, chapter 1. Here we go. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas A. Edison. The man who thought his way into a partnership with Thomas A. Edison. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that. When they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire. For their translation into riches or other material objects. A little more than 30 years ago, Edwin C. Barnes discovered how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. His discovery did not come about at one sitting. It came little by little, beginning with a burning desire to become a business associate of great Thomas A. Edison. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes's desire was that it was definite. He wanted to, hold on, I got people that's trying to come into the chat, but I'm reading, you guys. So I should have made it so that the chat is not open. I'm sorry, that coming on is not open. So the callers, no call-ins, because it's disturbing my reading. So I see you, but there's no callers today. And I'll make it so the next readings that the caller thing is not even showing up. Sorry about that, you guys. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes's desire was that it was definite. He wanted to work with Thomas Edison, not for him. Observe carefully the description of how he went about translating his desire into reality, and you will have a better understanding of the 13 principles that lead to riches. Riches. We're about riches over here. Rich people read. When this desire or impulse of thought first flashed into his mind, he was in no position to act upon it. Two difficulties stood in the way. He did not know Mr. Thomas Edison, and he did not have enough money to pay his railroad fare to Orange, New Jersey. These difficulties were sufficient to have discouraged the majority of men from making any attempt to carry out the desire. But his way was no ordinary desire. His was no ordinary desire. He was so determined to find a way to carry out his desire that he finally decided to travel by blind baggage rather than be defeated. To the uninitiated, this means that he went to East Orange on freight train. He presented himself at Mr. Edison's laboratory and announced he had come to go into business with the inventor. In speaking on the first meeting between Barnes and Edison years later, Mr. Edison said he stood there before me, looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. I had learned from years of experience with men that when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire fortune on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win. I gave him the opportunity he asked for because I saw that he made up in his mind to stand by until he succeeded. Subsequent events proved that no mistake was made. Just what young Barnes said to Mr. Edison on that occasion was far less important than that which he thought. You see, Thomas Edison himself said so. It could not have been the young man's appearance which got him his start in the Edison office, for that was definitely against him. It was what he thought that counted. If the significance of this statement could be conveyed to every person who reads it or hears it, there would be no need for the remainder of this book. Barnes did not get into his partnership with Thomas Edison on his first interview. He did get a chance to work with Edison offices at the very nominal wage, doing work that was unimportant to Edison, but most important to Barnes because it gave him an opportunity to display his merchandise where his intended partner could see it. Months went by. Apparently, nothing happened to bring the coveted goal, which Barnes had set up in his mind as his definite major purpose. But something important was happening in Barnes's mind. He was constantly intensifying his desire to become the business associate of Thomas A. Edison. Now, psychologists have correctly said that when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for business association with Thomas Edison. Moreover, he was determined to remain ready until he got that which he was seeking. Have you guys ever wanted something? Have you ever wanted a car and then suddenly you start seeing that car everywhere? This is a sidebar real quick. Have you ever wanted a car? I remember there was this one Mercedes. I've had a lot of Benz. I've had 6 Mercedes Benz, right? But there was this one Mercedes Benz that I had wanted way back, in 2008, 2009. And then when I first saw it on TV, next thing I know, I was seeing it everywhere. It didn't matter where I turned. It didn't matter what parking lot I went to. It didn't matter what store I went to. That Mercedes was everywhere. Next thing you know, I ended up getting that Mercedes Benz. That's what they're talking about. Have you guys ever had that happen to you where you saw something everywhere? Suddenly you want something and then suddenly it's everywhere. It's popping up everywhere. All of us, it's on your computer. Your friends have it. You see it on billboards. You see it on bus stops, advertisements. It just shows up everywhere. He did not say to himself, well, what's the use? I guess I'll change my mind and try for the salesman's job. But he did say, I came here to go into business with Thomas Edison, and I'll accomplish this end if it takes the remainder of my life. He meant it. What a different story men would have to tell if they only would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. Maybe young Barnes did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination, his persistence in standing back of a single desire was destined to mow down all opposition and bring him the opportunity he was seeking. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of the opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Can you guys associate that with some of your relationships? All breakups aren't bad breakups, even though you might think they're bad breakups. Things that you think are a curse may actually be a blessing. It comes in the form of bad news. It comes in the form of sorrow and heartbreak, but it's actually a blessing. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Mr. Thomas Edison had just perfected a new office device, known at the time as the Edison dictating machine, now known as the Ediphone, which later became the fax machine, by the way. His salesmen were not enthusiastic over the machine. They did not believe it could be sold without great effort. Barnes saw his opportunity. It had crawled in quietly, hidden in a queer-looking machine, which interested no one but Barnes and the inventor, Thomas Edison. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. He knew he could sell that newly invented fax machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. He did sell the machine. In fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Out of that business association grew the slogan, "Made by Edison and installed by Barnes." The business alliance had been in operation for more than 30 years. Out of it, Barnes had made himself rich in money, but he has done something infinitely greater. He has proved that one really may think and grow rich. How much actual cash money, that original desire of Barnes's had been worth to him, I have no way of knowing. Perhaps it was brought to him $2 or $3 million, $1925, but the amount, whatever it is, becomes insignificant when compared with the greater asset he acquired in the form of definite knowledge that an intangible impulse of thought can be transmuted into its physical counterpart by the application of known principles. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison. He thought himself into a fortune. He had nothing to start with except for the capacity to know what he wanted and the determination to stand by that desire until he realized it. He had no money to begin with. He had but little education. He had no influence, but he did have initiative, faith, and the will to win. With these intangible forces, he made himself number one man with the greatest inventor who ever lived. Now, let's look at a different situation and study a man who had plenty of tangible evidence of riches, but lost it all because he stopped 3 feet, 36 inches short of the goal he was seeking. 3 feet from gold. One of the most common mistakes, one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Isn't that explained right here in YouTube? Sidebar. I'm always say sidebar. People quit. Think about you. Think about how many people quit on cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, years ago, and it's kicking themselves in the ass now that it's worth $65,000. Some of you guys quit on Bitcoin in 2017 when it was only worth $3. Some of you guys quit early on your businesses. You quit early on your relationships. How many of you guys threw in the towel on your relationships and now you're kicking yourself in the ass for doing that? One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. An uncle of R.U. Darby was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days and went to the West to dig and grow rich. He wanted to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. He staked the claim and went to work with a pickaxe and shovel. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. After weeks and weeks of labor. Imagine going to California, up to San Francisco back in the gold rush days with a pickaxe, and you just digging. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore of some gold. He needed machinery, though, to bring the gold to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine. He retraced his footsteps to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland. Told his relatives and a few neighbors of his strike. They got together some money for the needed machinery and had it shipped. The uncle and Darby went back to work on the mine. The first car of ore, gold, was mined and shipped to a smelter. The returns proved that he had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear all of his debts. Then would come the big killings in profit. Down went the drills. Up went the hopes of Darby and Uncle. Then something happened. The vein of ore disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled more. They drilled on desperately, trying to pick up the vein again to no avail. Finally, as many of us do, as many of you have done in your business or in your relationships, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Some junk men are dumb, but not this junk man, not this one. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised the junkman that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with the fault lines. You know what a fault line is, right? Underground. His calculations showed that the vein of gold would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. And that is exactly where it was found. The junk man took millions of dollars in from ore from the mine because he knew to seek expert counsel. The junk man who bought the machinery for a few $100s took millions of dollars in gold from that mine because he knew to seek expert counsel before giving up. Let that sink in, you guys. He became filthy rich because he knew that he needed to seek expert counsel before giving up. Most of the money that went into the machinery was procured through the efforts of R.U. Darby, who was then a very young man. The money came from his relatives and neighbors because of their faith in him. He paid back every dollar of it, although he was years in doing so. Long after, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he made the discovery that the desire can be transmuted into gold. The discovery came after he went into the business of selling life insurance. Remembering that he lost a huge fortune because he stopped 3 feet away from the gold, Darby profited by the experience in his own chosen work by the simple method of saying to himself, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy my insurance. Darby is one of a small group of fewer than 50 men who sell more than $1 million in life insurance annually. This is in 1925, by the way. I want to emphasize this is 1925 money. Darby is one of a small group of fewer than 50 men who sell more than $1 million in life insurance annually. He owes his stickability to the lesson he learned from his quitability in the gold mining business. Before success comes in any person's life, they must be sure to meet with much they are sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a person, the easiest and most logical thing to do is quit. When defeat overtakes you, the easiest thing and most logical thing you think is to quit. And that's exactly what the majority of people do. More than 500 of the most successful men in this country has ever known told the author their greatest success came just one step from the point at which defeat had overtaken them. Failure is the trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. A 50-cent lesson in persistence. Let's talk about persistence real quick. Got to give a shout out to Square Biz. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat for the sidebars. Listen, you know me, I can't just read straight through. I'm not going to be robotic. We're going to talk about it. We talk about getting rich over here. We got to talk about the nuances in the books that we read. We got to talk about the nuances. Thank you so much, Square Biz. So now let's talk about persistence, because that's what a lot of us have a problem with, right? Let's talk about a 50-cent lesson in persistence, because persistence is a problem with a lot of y'all that's listening to me right now. It's certainly a problem with me. Shortly after Mr. Darby received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on the occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old-fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm, right, on which a number of African-American sharecrop farmers lived. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of African-American sharecroppers, sharecrop farmers lived. We'll call them sharecrop farmers, y'all, back in this time. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small black child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up and saw this black child and barked at her roughly, "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mother says to send her 50 cents. He says, "I'll not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now you run on home." "Yes, sir," the child replied. But she didn't move. The uncle went ahead with his work, so busily engaged that he did not even pay attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. She never left. He didn't even realize that she didn't leave. She said okay, but she stood there. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go on home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." The little black girl, said, "Yes, sir," but she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness a murder. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper. He knew that black children were not supposed to defy white people in that part of the country. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step. She looked up into his eyes and screamed at the top of her shrill little black voice and said, "My mama's gotta have that 50 cents. The uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave down. Barrel stave is a big stick. He slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor. He put his hands in his pocket. He took out a $50 and he gave it to that little black girl. The child took the money and slowly backed towards the door, never taking her eyes off the man who she had just conquered. After she had gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into the space for more than 10 minutes. He was pondering with awe over the whipping he had just taken. Mr. Darby, too, was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all of his experience that he had seen a little black child deliberately master an adult white person. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and become as docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master over her superior? These and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind, but he did not find the answer until years later, when he told me the story. Strangely, the story of this unusual experience was told to the author in the old mill on the very spot where the uncle took his whipping. Strangely, too, I had devoted nearly a quarter of a century to the study of the power which enabled an ignorant, illiterate, black young child to conquer an intelligent man. As we stood there in that musty old mill, Mr. Darby repeated the story of the unusual conquest and finished by asking this: what can you make of it? What strange power did that little black child use that was so completely whipped my uncle? The answer to his question will be found in the principles described in this book, the book that we're reading right now, Think and Grow Rich. The answer is full and complete. It contains details and instructions sufficient to enable anyone to understand and apply the same force which the little child accidentally stumbled upon. Now keep your mind alert, my friends, and you will observe exactly what strange power came to the rescue of that child. You will catch a glimpse of this power in the next chapter. Somewhere in this book, you will find an idea that will quicken your receptive powers and place at your command, for your own benefit, the same irresistible power. For your own benefit, the same irresistible power. The awareness of this power may come to you in the first chapter, or it may flash into your mind in some subsequent chapter. It may come in the form of a single idea, or it may come in the nature of a plan or a purpose. Again, it may cause you to go back into your past experiences of failure and defeat and bring to the surface some lesson by which you can regain all that you lost through that defeat. After I had described to Mr. Darby the power unwittingly used by this little black child, he quickly retraced his 30 years of experience as a life insurance salesman, and frankly acknowledged that his success in that field was due in no small degree to the lesson he had learned from that black child. Mr. Darby pointed out, every time a prospect tried to bow me out without buying, I saw that little black child standing in that old mill, her big eyes glaring in defiance. And I said to myself, I've got to make this sale. The better portion of all sales I have made were made after people first said no. He recalled, too, his mistake in having stopped only 3 feet from gold. But he said that experience was a blessing in disguise. That experience of stopping 3 feet from the gold vein was a blessing in disguise. Have you guys had some blessings in disguise? It taught me to keep on keeping on, No matter how hard the going may be, a lesson I needed to learn before I could succeed in anything. This story of Mr. Darby and his uncle, the colored child and the gold mine, doubtless will be read by hundreds of men who make their living by selling life insurance. And to all of these, the author wishes to offer the suggestion that Darby owes to these two experiences his ability to sell more than $1 million of life insurance every year. Life is strange, my friends, and often imponderable. Both the successes and failures have their roots in simple experiences. The Darby's experiences were commonplace and simple enough, yet they held the answer to his destiny in life. Therefore, they were as important to him as life itself. He profited by these two dramatic experiences because he analyzed them and found the lesson they taught. But what of the man who has neither the time nor the indignation to study failure in search of knowledge that may lead to success? Where and how is he to learn the art of converting defeat into stepping stones of opportunity? What about that guy who don't have nothing? What about you who may not have an opportunity to go mine gold, may not have an opportunity to sell life insurance, may not have an opportunity to go demand 50 cents from some old man in the mill? What about the person that has nothing? In answer to these questions, this book was written. The answer called for a description of 13 principles. But remember, as you read, the answer you may be seeking to the questions which have caused you to ponder over strangeness in life may be found in your own mind through some idea, plan, or purpose which may spring into your mind as you read. One sound idea is that all one needs to achieve success. The principles described in this book contain the best and the most practical of all that is known concerning ways and means of creating useful ideas. Before we go any further in our approach to the description of these principles, we believe you are entitled to receive this important suggestion. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly, in such great abundance, that one wonders where have they been hiding during all those lean years. This is an astounding statement, and all the more so when we take into consideration the popular belief that riches come only to those who work hard and long. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to RG. Hit us with the $20 super chat. You know I appreciate you, RG. You're always blessing the channel. Continued ardent supporter of the channel. Thank you for the $20, man. It encourages me to keep on keeping on. Thank you, bro. And you know you got the cha-ching. Shoot me that email so you can get that gift card. Now, everybody listen up. Everybody that's listening. When you begin to think and grow rich, you will observe that riches begin with a state of mind. That's where it starts. With definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work, physical work. You and every person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire that state of mind that will attract riches. I spent 25 years in research analyzing more than 25,000 people because I, too, wanted to know how wealthy men became that way. Without that research, this book could not have been written. Here, take notice of this very significant truth. The business depression started in 1929 and continued on to an all-time record of destruction until sometime after President Roosevelt entered the office. Then the depression began to fade into nothingness. Just as an electrician in a theater raises the lights so gradually that the darkness is transmuted into light before you realize it, so did the spell of fear in the minds of people gradually fade away and became faith. Observe very closely as you master the principles of this philosophy and begin to follow the instructions for applying those principles. Your financial status will begin to improve. Your financial status will begin to improve. And everything you touch will begin to transmute itself into an asset for your benefit. Impossible? Not at all. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiarity with the word impossible. Let me read that again. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiarity with the word impossible. Y'all use the word impossible too much. It rolls off your tongue too easy. He knows all the rules that will not work. He knows all the rules that everybody always knows what don't work. He knows all the things that can't be done. He knows all the things that cannot be done. This book was written for those who seek the rules that have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on those rules. A great many years ago, I purchased a fine dictionary. The first thing I did with it was to turn to the word impossible and neatly clipped it out of the dictionary. That would not be an unwise thing for you to do. Success comes to those who begin success consciousness. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. The object of this book is to help all who seek it to learn the art of changing their minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. That's what we're doing, fellas. That's what we're doing, ladies. We're changing our minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. That's why you're even here listening to me read this book. To the people that don't want to listen to this book, don't want to read it, they're not part of the crew. It's just that simple. They'll be working for you one day. Let me repeat that. The people that's not interested in even reading this book right now will be working for you one day. Another weakness found in altogether too many people is the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. Some who will read this will believe that no one can think and grow rich. They cannot think in terms of riches because their thought habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure, and defeat. We all know somebody like that, right? They're in your family. You might be married to one. You might be dating somebody like that. They can't think in terms of rich, wealthy, money, abundance, top shelf, because their thoughts and habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure, and defeat. These unfortunate people remind me of a prominent Chinese man who came to America to be educated in American ways. He attended the University of Chicago. One day, President Harper met this young Asian on the campus, stopped to chat with him for a few minutes, and asked him what had impressed him as being the most noticeable characteristic of the American people. "Why?" the Chinese man exclaimed. "The queer slant of your eyes are off slant. What do we say about Chinese? We refuse to believe that which we do not understand. We foolishly believe that our own limitations are the proper measure of limitations. Sure, the other fellow's eyes are off slant because they are not the same as our own. Millions of people look at the achievements of Henry Ford. After he arrived, and hold on a second. My AirPods died. I had to switch ears. Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Let me see. Test. Test 1, 2. Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm not using the AirPods for the mic. I need to hear you that way. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Millions of people look at the achievements of Henry Ford after he has arrived and envy him because of his good fortune or luck or genius or whatever it is that they credit for Ford's fortune. Perhaps one person in every 100,000 knows the secret of Henry Ford's success, and those who do know are too modest or reluctant to speak of it because of its simplicity. A single transaction will illustrate the secret perfectly. A few years back, Henry Ford decided to produce his now famous V8 motor. Did you know the V8 was invented by Henry Ford? He chose to build an engine with the entire 8 cylinders cast into one block. He instructed his engineers to produce the design for the engine. The design was placed on paper, but the engineers agreed to a man that it was simply impossible to cast an 8-cylinder gas engine block in one piece. It's impossible. You can't do it, boss. You can't make that engine. It's not going to work, is what they told Henry Ford. Ford said, produce it anyway. Do it anyway. But they replied, it's impossible. Go ahead, commanded Ford, and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time is required. The engineers went ahead. There was nothing else for them to do if they were to remain on Ford's staff. If they want to keep their job, they better do it. 6 months went by. Nothing happened. Another 6 months passed. Still no V8 engine block. The engineers tried every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the thing seemed out of the question. Impossible. At the end of the first year, Ford checked with his engineers, and again they informed him that they had found no way to carry out his orders. Go right ahead. Go right ahead is what Henry Ford said. I want it and I will have it. Period. They went ahead. And then, as if by a stroke of magic, the secret was discovered. The Ford determination had won once more. This story may not be described with minute accuracy, but the sum and substance of it is correct. Deduce from it, you who wish to think and grow rich. The secret of Ford millions, if you can. You'll not have to look very far. Henry Ford is a success because he understands and applies the principles of success. One of these is desire. Knowing what one wants. Remember this. Ford's story as you read it and pick out the lines in which the secret of his stupendous achievement has been described. If you can do this, if you can lay your finger on the particular group of principles that made Henry Ford rich, you can equal his achievements in almost any calling for which you are suited. You, my friends, you, everybody in the SR Army, you, everybody that's reading this book with us today, are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. Because when Henley wrote the prophetic lines, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, he should have informed us that we are the masters of our fate, the captain of our souls, because we have the power to control our thoughts. He should have told us that the ether in which this little earth floats, in which we move and have our being, is a form of energy moving at an inconceivably high rate of vibration, and that the ether is filled with a form of universal power which adapts itself to the nature of the thoughts we hold in our minds and influences us in natural ways to transmute our thoughts into their physical equivalent. If the poet had told us of this great truth, we would know why it is that we are masters of our fate, the captains of our soul. He should have told us with great emphasis that this power makes no attempt to discriminate between destructive thoughts and constructive thoughts. Remember, the power of your mind makes no attempt to discriminate between destructive thoughts and constructive thoughts. that it will urge us to translate into physical reality thoughts of poverty just as quickly as it will influence us to act upon thoughts of riches. If you think poor and broke, so you will be. If you think poor and broke, so you will be. This is why I emphasize to people to get away from them broke people. Get away from them woe is me people. Get away from them, as Anton says, people who are, what does he call it? I call it pity parties. Everybody calls it pity parties, but what does he call it? I can't think of the name. Get away from people who think poor, who think broke, who think impoverished. Get away from them, or because as they think, so goes you. What is it? I'm trying to think of what Anton calls it. I want to say, I keep thinking pity train, but it ain't pity train. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. He should have told us, too, that our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts that we hold in our mind, and by means with which no man is familiar, these magnets attract us to the forces, the people, the circumstances of life, which harmonize with nature of our dominating thoughts. He should have told us that before we can accumulate riches, before we can become wealthy, before we can get to the bag in great abundance, we must magnetize our minds with this intense desire to get to the bag, this intense desire for riches, that we must become money conscious until the desire for money drives us to create definite plans for acquiring it. You got to have the desire. Screw what they talk about on Instagram. Forget all the memes that your friends is putting up. Waking up and always talking about what they want to do. They just talking about it. They don't have the desire for it. You don't have the desire for it. You got to have the desire, the burning desire to make it happen. And it will. But being a poet and not the philosopher, Henley contended himself by stating a great truth in poetic form, leaving those who followed him to interpret the philosophical meaning of his lines. Little by little, the truth has unfolded itself until now it appears certain that principles described in this book hold the secret of mastery over our economic fate. We are now ready to examine the first of these principles. Maintain a spirit of open-mindedness and remember as you read, they are the invention of no one man. Not one man invented this. The principles were gathered from the life experiences of more than 500 men who actually accumulated riches in huge amounts. Men who began in poverty, which with little but no education, without any influence. The principles worked for these men. You can put them to work for you and your own enduring benefit. You will find it easy, not hard to do. Before you read the next chapter, I want you to know that it conveys factual information that might easily change your entire financial destiny, as it has so definitely brought changes to the stupendous proportions to two people described. I want you to know also that the relationship between these two men and myself is such that I could have taken no liberties with the facts, even if I had wished to do so. One of them has been my closest personal friend for almost 25 years. The other is my own son. The unusual success of these two men, success which they generously accredit to the principle described in the next chapter, more than justifies this personal reference as a means of emphasizing the far-flung power of this principle. Almost 15 years ago, I delivered a commencement address at Salem College. Salem, West Virginia. I emphasized the principle described in the next chapter with so much intensity that one of the members of the graduating class definitely appropriated it and made it a part of his own philosophy. The young man is now a member of Congress and an important factor in the present administration. Just before this book went to the publisher, he wrote me a letter in which he so clearly stated his opinion of the principle outlined in the next chapter that I have chosen to publish his letter as an introduction to that chapter. It gives you an idea of the rewards to come. My dear Napoleon Hill, my service as a member of Congress, having given me an insight into the problems of men and women, I am writing to offer a suggestion which may become helpful to thousands of worthy people. With apologies, I must state that the suggestion is acted upon will mean several years of labor and responsibility for you, but I am enheartened to make the suggestion because I know your great love for rendering useful service. Back in 1922, you delivered the commencement address at Salem College when I was a member of the graduating class. In that address, you planted in my mind an idea which had been responsible for the opportunity I now have to serve the people of my state and will be responsible in a very large measure for whatever success I may have in the future. The suggestion I have in mind is that you put into a book of sum and substance of the address you delivered at Salem College, and in that way give the people of America an opportunity to profit by your many years of experience and association with the men who, by their greatness, have made America the richest nation on the earth. I recall as though it was yesterday, the marvelous description you gave of the method by which Henry Ford, with little but schooling, without a dollar, with no influential friends, rose to great heights. I made up in my mind, even before you had finished your speech, that I would make a place for myself, no matter how many difficulties I had to surmount. Thousands of young people will finish their schooling this year, and within the next few years, every one of them will be seeking such a message of practical encouragement as the one I received from you. I will want to know where to turn, what to do to get started in life. You can tell them because you have helped to solve the problems of so many people. If there is any possible way that you can afford to render so great a service, may I offer the suggestion that you include with every book one of your personal analysis charts in order that the purchaser of that book may have the benefit of a complete self-inventory, indicating, as you indicated to me years ago, exactly what is standing in the way of success. Such a service as this, providing the readers of your book with a complete, unbiased picture of their faults and their virtues, would mean to them the difference between success and failure. The service would be priceless. Millions of people are now facing the problem of staging a comeback because of the depression, and I speak from personal experience when I say I know these earnest people would welcome the opportunity to tell you their problems and to receive your suggestions for the solution. You know the problems of those who face the necessity of beginning all over again. There are thousands of people in America today who would like to know how they can convert ideas into money. I'm going to read that again. There are thousands of people in America today who would like to know how they can convert ideas into money. People who must start from scratch without any finances and recoup their losses. If anyone can help them, you can. If you publish the book, I would like to own the first copy that comes from the press, personally autographed by you. With best wishes, believe me, cordially yours, Jennings Randolph. This book I have has key ideas. Should I run over these key ideas? Let me run over these key ideas real quick. 1, thoughts or things when mixed with definite of purpose, persistence, and burning desire translate into wealth. 2, it matters less what you say than what you think. It matters less what you say than what you think. 3, you have to be ready and be determined to persevere until you attain what you want. 4, opportunity often comes disguised as misfortune and defeat. 5, one of the most common causes of failure is quitting as soon as you experience temporary defeat. Oh my God. 6, even if you've quit before, you can learn from the experience and become a sticker instead of a quitter in the future. 7, most successful people say that their greatest success came one step beyond an apparent failure or defeat. I can attest to that. I'll testify to that. Most successful people say that their greatest success came one step, sometimes a half step, beyond an apparent failure or defeat. 8, once you get it, the wealth starts coming at a surprising rate. Boy, when it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. Trust me when I tell you. Once it starts coming, you wondering it's like you can't turn it off. Number 9, the Great Depression, things changed back very, very slowly. It was almost imperceptible. Number 10, you already know the rules that make things seem impossible. This book highlights the rules that those who succeeded followed. 11, success comes to those who are success conscious. Failure comes to those who are failure conscious. 11, success comes to those who are success conscious, and failure comes to those who are failure conscious. 12, most people can't believe something that they haven't experienced already or that they don't understand. 13, the universal power is going to turn positive thoughts into positive things and negative thoughts into negative things. It is in this way that you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. 14, the thoughts you think the most, either positive or negative, become magnets to experiences that reinforce it. 15, in order to get rich, you have to develop an intense burning desire to have money. Number 15, in order to get rich, you have to develop an intense burning desire to have money, and that will cause you to create a definite plan for getting it. That's it, guys. That's today. That's today. That's the Victim Olympics. Thank you, Tony V. Thank you, Tony V. I wonder if that's my frat brother, Tony V. Spring 92 EK. If not, thank you, Tony V. The Victim Olympics. That's what I was trying to think about what Anton has said. People are so quick to jump into they sign up for the Victim Olympics and want to run that race. I couldn't think of that for the life of me. Thank you, RC. Oh, Brittany said it too. Brittany said it first. Thank you, RCC. Everybody said it. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. We knocked it out. Chapter 1. We knocked it out. Art. Another $20 super chat for the ADR. Listen, I'm a film producer, so ADR to me stands for automatic audio dialogue replacement. Audio ADR is what we do in film. After we film after we film a movie in production, if the sound doesn't come out right, we go to ADR, which is audio dialogue replacement, to have the actors come into the studio and repeat what they said for the film. So a lot of times in movies, what they're saying on screen outside is not what they actually said that day. They recorded, they fucking mimicked them. They watched themselves on screen and they repeated what they said. So I'm not sure what you mean by ADR. I don't know if that's what you mean, but I think that might be what you mean. So shout out to you. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the super chats. Squarebiz hit us with the super chats. RG always hit me with the super chats. Squarebiz hit us with multiple super chats. RG is always hit me with multiple super chats. Sherry hit us with the super chats. She's tuning in. Sherry, make sure you send an email to superchat@shannonrawls.com. Read the description. It'll tell you how to break it down so you can get your gift card. Everybody that sends a $20 super chat or more is getting a return on their investment. I appreciate you guys. Yo, We knocked out chapter 1. Chapter 1 is one of the biggest chapters. Not the biggest, it's one of the biggest of the 15. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let me switch back to our music. 1 down, 15 to go. It's going to be nothing. Are you guys highlighting the book? Are you highlighting it? Are you taking notes? I talk to so many people who want to be wealthy, want to get it. But then they're not willing to do the work to get it. They won't be over here reading. They want it to just land in their lap. They want the money to just land in their lap. They want to play the lottery on life and hope they strike it rich. No. That ain't how it works, you guys. Look at that. Less than 2 hours. I'm glad you guys are here. Miss Drea, salute. Miss Drea, salute.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. I'm going to play it back. I'm going to work it out. This is my very first time reading live on video. I appreciate you guys even tapping in and listening, paying attention to me. You know, I think that the lighting is a little too bright. I got this window open. Next time I have it closed. My gardener was here with my AirPods went out. I had people trying to come up and join the chat. Join the show. They tried to call in. We're going to work all of that out for next time. We're going to work all of that out for next time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I'm going live later. This is just the rich people read section. We still got to do high value Shan. We still got to do high value Shan today. We got a conversation. We got a conversation to talk about today, you guys. That's just this part. This is different than the High Value Shan podcast. This is the Rich People Read is a podcast. We have the High Value Shan podcast. That's coming up later on today. So are you guys subscribed to my channel? If you're not subscribed, hit the subscription button and tap the bell so you get notified. If you hit the bell, your YouTube app is gonna say, "Yo, Shan's going live right now. You want to tap in?" You won't miss it. Thank you to everybody that joined the military. Today, they joined the SR Army. Shout out to the new soldiers.
Sir, yes, sir.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Shout out to the new soldiers. Everybody, all soldiers, give them a salute. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm going to go back and read these chats. I know you guys are saying some awesome shit, but I was too busy reading. RCC is always, look at y'all. Shout out to RCC soldier in the Army. You need to do a physical fitness life. How you read my mind, bro? You already know. Look, I used to go live in the gym for free to almost no audience. Now I'm gonna go live over here for free to you guys. I'm gonna go live. Yes, I'm 49 years old. I'm 49 years old. And half of my friends look like they got one foot in the grave, but not over here. We work over here. That's a 50-year-old arm, you guys. This is a 50-year-old body. The fountain of youth. I've discovered it. You damn right, RCC. You damn right, RCC. We're gonna go live on the fitness tip. Thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that in the members area or public. I really want to do that one public because I want as many people to get that as possible. Think and Grow Rich, my friends. Today, chapter 1 is knocked out. Wednesday, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, chapter 2. Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Tap in for chapter 2. Thank you. Ace Senior joined the Army today. I hope my guy Ace Senior. Ace Senior blessed you with books. If the books haven't arrived, they're on their way. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I need an outro. You know, I created an outro for the other podcast. Remember I told you I said I didn't have an outro and I wasn't sure what I was going to be saying? I created one for the other ones. It's please subscribe to the channel. Like, this video and join the army. I'm Shan, the man with the plan. I've been there, done that. And not much surprises me anymore. And you are dismissed. See you later on today, you guys.
Yeah. Escucha. Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta.
Wait. We got a giveaway. I got to get used. You know what? I've set myself up for a reminder in the High Value Shan, but on Rich People Read, I didn't. I didn't set it up. Hold on, y'all. Got to pull it up. We got a giveaway. And we got 22 people. Who's part of it? I promise you, I'm gonna set up something to remind me to make sure I mention our live giveaway. Listen, for those that don't know, I give away free merch every time I go live. Randomly to the people who are participating in the chat. All you got to do is participate in the chat. All you have to do is say salute. Just give us a salute in the chat. That's all you got to do. You have to do nothing else. And you are automatically entered. The system has been tracking you guys. Let me show you the screen. Boom. There's the screen. Let's see. There's the screen. You ready to roll it? AC says roll them dice. AC says roll the dice. Miss Drea, she just said salute. Miss Drea is in it. She's in the, see that little dot next to her name? See that little dot next to her name? That means she's in the running. Alicia is not. Arseny and Beasley and Brittany B is not, because they didn't say salute. You got to say salute. Arsene Remy, you got to say salute. Well, I think you won. Didn't you win already? I don't remember who won. It's about to come automatic. You got to say salute. I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds to just type the word salute. Oh, Arseny just typed it. See, now you got the dot, Arseny. You didn't have a dot just a second ago, but now you got it. Right next to your name. Lakecia, she just wrote salute. Lakecia, she's good to go. The system tracks you guys. All right, here we go. Let's roll it. The winner of this one is what? I forget what you got to email me as. You got to email me as something. Trevor just added. Trevor's in it. Oh, look, Trevor made it at the last second. Trevor made it at the last second. Let's roll it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and the winner, Therese Lay. Therese Lay is the winner of today's giveaway. Therese, are you here? You have to be here to collect the prize. Therese, you got 10 seconds to say present. Therese, you got 10 seconds to say present. If you're not here, Therese, I got to pass it on. We got to roll it again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Therese, you're not here? 1. Fidelis is here. Fidelis just joined. Let's see if his name is in there. Fidelis is part of it. He's in the running. All right, Therese. All right, we got to roll it again. Boom. Ace Senior. Ace already won, didn't he? Didn't Ace win the other day? Ace won the other day. Ace already won. We're gonna pass up Ace. Ace got so much free merch. We're gonna skip Ace. Unless Ace wants to bless somebody else. Ace, Ace did win the other night. You can only win once a month. Okay, I need to keep a track. I'm gonna go back and start keeping track. I'm gonna keep a log of all the winners. Let me start that now. Let me go to my yellow notes and create a fresh yellow note. We're gonna call this hold on. Let's go to my yellow notes, go to admin. We're gonna call this the chat winners. And then we're gonna say Ace Senior is already in here. Ace Senior already won. Didn't Ace Senior already win? Are you sure? He lied. Ace, you sure? Are you sure, Ace? You know, you know why I think Ace won? Is because I say his name so often. He's always giving super chats. He's always giving super chats. I can't believe he's always winning. He helps the show so much. I say his name so much. I think he's like damn near a part of everything. All right, we're gonna roll it again. Okay, Ace says to bless Miss Dara. Okay, so I'm gonna put Miss Dara on the list. Miss Dara, all you gotta do is email us. All you gotta do is email us to chatwinners@shannonrawls.com. But I'm gonna roll it again anyway. Ace Senior is blessing Miss Dara. Ace Senior wants to bless Miss Dara with his winning just now. But because Ace has blessed the channel so much, we're going to give that to Miss Dara. She's on the list. So Miss Dara, please email us chatwinner@shannonrawls.com. That's the email address. You'll see it in the description. Then we're going to roll it again. All right, here we go. We're going to roll it again, y'all. The new winner. No, not that one. That's the system. Black Pearl. Black Pearl is a winner. Black Pearl, are you here? Black Pearl. Black Pearl. Black Pearl, where you at? Yo! Black Pearl like, yo, give me my shit. Black Pearl came in here saying, yo, give me my shit. Black Pearl, you won. You won today's contest. Or you won this live's contest. We're gonna give it away again later on. Black Pearl, make sure you hit us at an email at SUPERCHATS. I'm sorry. Chatwinners@shannonrawls.com. Hit us at chatwinners at Black Pearl. Hit us at chatwinners@shannonrawls.com, and we'll make sure you get that gift card. We'll make sure you get the gift card. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later on. Nah, the stream can't win, Ace. All right, y'all. We out.
Yeah. Escucha. En mí o en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes
Come on.
Me haces falta, bebé. Dime qué tengo que hacer pa' tenerte de una vez, pa' no poderte perder. Dulce, eres mi bombón. Te quiero melocotón. Por ti corro un maratón. Solo de la dirección. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. Pa' mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Mira, somos perfectos, es algo indiscutible. Mi estilo y tu estilo no están disponibles. Solo soy sensible cuando te tengo porque eres irresistible. Tus labios combinan con tus ojos, porque eres tan pretty que hasta yo de eso miento. Chica, necesito mis anteojos. Quiero verte en noche hermosa de todos modos. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. A mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada.